Pitch Up and Down Match.
And there you have it, guys. They said it all. It is the up and down matches starting out today. I am Doa. With me is Wolf. Wolf, what is it? It's the up and down match. That's right. I couldn't remember the last part. Did they actually do this?
I don't remember. They did something like that.
We were doing emotion before the cast. We were like, by our powers combined, we are going to cast the up and down matches. The up and down match. It's up and down.
It is up and down. Some will be going up and some will be going down, and some will actually be going neither up nor down. They'll just stay in place.
Some will not go at all. They'll be like that dead fish in your aquarium that doesn't, it's been there for a day or two, but you're too like freaked out to clean it up and just kind of floating in the middle. All the other fish are like staying away from it, you know.
Yeah, you came back from the vacation, you were like, oh, the fish.
Like, that was my favorite fish, and you can't bring yourself to flush it quite yet. That's what it'll be like for some of the players today. That's the best description there is, actually.
Well,
and
I don't think anyone today will flounder necessarily.
Oh, I'll see. That might happen tomorrow. Is it tomorrow? I think
that might be tomorrow, yeah.
All right, we're talking about OGSMC, of course. One of his old nicknames was Flounder.
Yeah.
Now let's take a look at our format for today's matches. As you can see there, it's 3 groups of 5, and basically pretty much everybody is going to play everybody. The first and second place players from each group get to Code S. The rest of them stay in Code A or go down into the Code A if they were in Code S previously.
Right.
Yep.
Hence the name Up and Down Match.
Up and Down Match. So
it's very difficult. You have to play extremely well. If you lose more than 2 games, it's essentially impossible
pretty much
to get in. It's just not going to happen for you.
3 is right out.
3 is right out.
Yep. They might proceed directly to 4 or 5 games, but probably not. We'll see. Yeah, basically, it's tough. I mean, I tweeted about it earlier today at DoaSC, by the way, and I said, you know, this is really the 3 most dramatic days of the season. Because this is a big day for some of these guys. Well, for all these guys, really. You know, the Code S'ers don't want to go down to Code A. Code A wants to get up into Code S.
Look at Group B, man.
Yeah, that is stacked.
Check and listen to the music we've got going. This is like actually so awesome. And Group C's got some awesome players in it as well. Marine King is going to want to try to get back up. He's playing against Taja and JYP, some awesome guys that went through Code A.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I was looking at the up and down match groups like we just did, and the groups are really cool. I mean, we're going to have a lot of good games today. Here's one of the players from our first game. It is OGS SuperNova. I was talking to Wolf a little bit about this guy earlier today. I was kind of like, you know, I like watching him play, but I can't really remember why. You know,
he's just always done. He's been a pretty top-notch player. He hasn't been in any like famous games. Now his opponent Alicia, I call him the chosen one because, of course, he was the last pro in the Super Tournament. Here's Björn, who's been doing very well recently, and you know,
than getting down to the up and down.
Yeah, he fell to the up and downs, but like, you know, he's just kind of been getting better and better as time's gone. And this was one of his worst seasons, but you know, he's done quite well. Maybe the puppy distracted him a little bit.
I couldn't blame him, man. That is a cute puppy. I sent pictures of that puppy to my wife today. She's like,
there's Lenog, a fan favorite. A lot of people really like Lenog.
A lot of girls are making that sound they just made right now, seeing that guy. And I hope he goes back up to Code S.
Look at his recent games, man. He 2-0'd Yoda, Maka, and you know, he's just been rising his way up back into Code S. He's trying to win. Here's Yoda. Now, if Yoda makes it in, I'll think maybe, you know, Yoda, it's maybe too soon for Yoda, I think.
He's like the dark horse of this group.
Right, yeah.
You know? But not the dark side.
He's not a bad player. I see what you did there.
You like looked at me, it's like, oh, I get it now. Yep.
He's not a bad player by any means, but I think he's definitely the one that's going to struggle the most in this group. This is a pretty stacked, all of these groups are so stacked this season. There's no bad players left in the GSL Code A or Code S. They're not here, man. They're gone.
No more bit by bits. You guys got to see some of the old VODs over the weekend, so you know.
I hope you guys really enjoyed that.
Yeah, that was fun kind of getting to revisit a lot of that. I really enjoyed it too. But you're right. I mean, there aren't a whole lot of bad players anymore in a Code A or Code S. But I also think you're right too with Yoda. I don't quite think that it's his time yet. I think maybe he's got another season or 2 in Code A. But, you know, he's gotten this far, so he's got a shot at it just like everybody else.
I'm kind of curious about Alicia, man. You know, Alicia has shown some really interesting builds in the past, but more recently hasn't been playing as many macro games. He's been doing a lot of all-ins when he plays, and
he's been kind of. I feel he's kind of like been staying where he was while everyone else has kind of been progressing. We see that with certain players sometimes.
Yeah, a lot of pro losses get stuck in that mindset because a lot of pro losses really struggle to figure out how to play. They get stuck in the mindset of, well, I should do this timing attack or this timing attack or this other timing attack. But there's these weird transitions that you have to make as a pro loss, you know, in the mid to late game where you're like, I don't know what to switch to now. And it's just, in general, pro losses haven't figured things out as well as the other races, I think. So sometimes people get caught in these timing attack situations like we've seen Hong and Prime. He got kind of stuck in that for a while.
A little bit, yeah.
And so here we go. First up, we're going to have SuperNova versus Alicia.
Should be a pretty good TVT there, or TVP rather. They're going to duke it out on dual site. And on this map, we've been seeing a lot of the Marine Tank Banshee from Terrence.
Yeah, we really have. Playing Bio on this map is still, you know, pretty normal and good choice, but you're exactly right. I mean, the Tank Marine Banshee build is very strong on this map. The rush distance isn't very far.
Now look at that. A little bit of match history there. SuperNova actually 2-0'd Alicia back in the round of 4 of Code A back in March. I remember that, actually. That was the first season that I was here. I was here at the end of the season anyway, but yeah. So they do have some history.
See if they can meet here again. Will Alicia be able to get his revenge and start his record in the up and down matches, or will SuperNova beat him again here at the GSL?
Sounds like that Duke Nukem soundboard's like balls, balls, balls. Anyway, on the right side of that, we have our red team player from the team OGS. He's explosive. They call him
OGS SuperNova.
SuperNova. There he is. And he is a good TVPer all around, you know. And on the left side of the map, we have a good Protoss player from the team Slayers. He is
Slayers, Alicia.
Moltrap and Druby just walked in the building.
Alicia, the chosen one.
The chosen one, huh? What is that?
Oh, it's another one of those signs. Those are GSL achievements obtained there. He got all 3 of those.
It's hard to get all 3 achievements in a mission, man.
It is.
Thanks to Pepsi and G-Skill and Ole ebook for sponsoring the GSL. Appreciate it, guys.
Thanks to Wybro for doing some great ads.
Thanks to Wybro just for being Wybro. There's nothing else you need to say there.
I wish we could really point you guys. I'm gonna try to tweet about it soon to those ads so you guys can. You can be in part of our inside joke that we have that you guys don't understand that we talk about on air.
Well, we talk about it like every game. We need to get Wybro to do player intros next season.
Yeah, I gotta find him. I gotta get his contact info, man. It'll be easy.
He's just as cute as any K-pop star. No problem.
Maybe even cuter.
Maybe. It's possible. It's possible.
Probe sneaks in here. He's going to be able to see the gas. And this is going to be pretty telling for him. Now, when you see the gas, obviously it indicates that your opponent's not going to be doing a 1-Rex expand, so you have to put that thought out of your mind. Take your second gas, because you're going to want to get a Robo. And if you don't get a Robo, you might just die to that Marine Tank Banshee build.
Yeah, it's really, really dangerous to try to fast expand against Terran right now. Like, you know, Wolf said, when you see that first initial gas. And looks like, though, this time around it's going to be safe. It's going to be a 2-Rax. He's getting the reactor on his first barracks, getting the second barracks up and running. So SuperNova, you know, in the past he does kind of prefer to play this way. We haven't really seen as much of the Marine Tank Banshee from him in his games in and outside of the GSL as we have from a lot of the other players.
Yeah. Yep. It's very true. I mean, SuperNova, this guy likes to play macro. Yep. Not too much of a timing attack guy. Well, Sentry being chronoed out.
I was just gonna say he is a good macro Terran too. The Code A season that he beat Alicia in, he actually went on to play against Lucira in the finals of that, and they actually went all the way to Game 7. So he's a good Terran.
Yeah, he definitely is a good Terran. He's shown a lot of promise.
I think he got right into Code S that season too.
I believe that was the season.
I believe he did. Yeah.
Well, Robo going up here for Alicia because he is the chosen one. He knows how to play PvT. Wants to play it absolutely safe. Probably going to add a gate shortly afterwards. Send that observer out. No, he's going to make a Nexus most likely around that time as well. And this is a build that a lot of newer Pro House players don't really use, but if you go one gate into Robo, into a second gate, and then make your Nexus, when your Observer gets there, you can kind of figure out what your opponent's doing and decide whether or not you want to keep that Nexus. So you basically do a build that's based on what you scout of your opponent rather than just kind of blindly doing it and hoping that you can hold.
Interesting.
So
Gate, Robo Gate.
I really like this build. I think it's becoming more popular, but it's more of a standard build.
You know what? Looks like SuperNova, well, there's the Observer on the way, but SuperNova is getting a factory. It's not getting a command center. So this will actually not be a 2 barracks expand. He may just go for like a, looks like just a possibly Marine Medevac stim time. But this, well, his Medevacs aren't going to be on time. Never mind, I take that back. But it's interesting. He obviously does want to get his tech going rather than expand early. I'm really kind of curious to see what he's going to do, actually. This is a tech lab on the factory. You know, he may actually be planning on doing a little bit later delayed Marine tank type of push here. Certainly looking like that.
Yeah, I mean, he is getting a tech lab on that factory.
Huh.
I expected to see a reactor and the starport going up, and then you know, starting to see a switch. He's just going to use the Medevacs to pressure, harass while he takes his command center. But yeah, it's starting to look like he's making a siege tank now. Starting to look like he wants to do a timing attack later. Alicia's going to get in here with his Observer. He's going to be able to see everything, including the tech lab on that factory. So he knows exactly what's going on now. Already started Immortal production. He's got one out. He's got a second one on the way.
Oh.
It's going to be very difficult to hold this Nexus, though.
Yeah, this is really, really interesting by SuperNova. I mean, especially if Alicia did, you know, notice the 2 barracks initially. I'm not sure if he caught a glimpse of that second barracks at first, but it's not very often where you see a player get 2 barracks and then, you know, go into the factory and the tank, and as you can see now, siege mode, well, it was on the production queue a moment ago. So it's just going to be straight up, you know, Marine tank, it looks like. No sign of a starport yet or anything like that. And this could be pretty tough.
But what I do like Alicia is doing is he's going to move forward. He's going to try to poke at these Marines, force some stims maybe while they're on the high ground before siege mode is done. He's bringing the sentry. He's going to try to trap some of these Marines, maybe even trap a siege tank. He has to be very careful because stim is done. He doesn't want to lose his entire army, and this is going to be really bad if he doesn't get out of here now. He sees, though, with his Observer, not sure if those force fields are even a good idea. He just needs to leave, trying to turn around and fight. This isn't the right choice, Alicia.
Oh, he's going to get that Immortal, too. Stimming ahead. He's trying to catch it.
Nice stim. Gets the Immortal, only stimming part of his Marines there.
That's a pretty big loss. A lot of SCVs being pulled as well, and suddenly Alicia looks like he's in a bit of trouble. The starport is just finishing now, so we're probably going to see, well, maybe a medevac to heal up those Marines, I would imagine.
There's absolutely no way Alicia's going to hold this. You know how many units he has right now? He's got 2 Stalkers, 3 Zealots, and an Immortal. That's it.
He's got a Colossus almost finished, though. Do you think that's going to make a difference?
When the Colossus gets out, he is going to be able to use that both tanks with siege mode. He's going to have to control it extremely well. Combat shields finishes. These Marines have so many hit points now. This Nexus is not going to stay alive, that's for sure.
Yeah, it looks like SuperNova's going to take out the Nexus and move into the main. Here comes the first Colossus. He's going to need to be careful. Of course, tanks can outrange the Colossi. Force field trapping 3 of those unfortunate SCVs, but looks like they're going to be okay.
Yeah, the Colossus is not going to have range for very, you know, it's going to be a long time before the Colossus has range. He's trying to Chrono Boost that out. And the tanks are already on top of the ramp.
Well, he can already hit that gateway, too. I mean, he's just going to move up the ramp. There's not a lot Alicia can do about it, really.
Yeah, he's just going to try to make that Colossus get too close to the siege tanks. Continue to poke at those gateways.
Yep.
And SuperNova looks like he's just going to crush through this, man.
I think so. I mean, even with the Colossi out, he can get such a nice spread with those Marines. Look at that, baiting the Colossus into the siege tank fire. And he can really just sit back and kill everything in Alicia's base. There's nothing Alicia can do about it.
Yeah, I think it was a bit of a misstep for Alicia to... I mean, moving out like he did to try to poke at the Marines was a good idea, but unfortunately he didn't react quickly enough. He tried to trap some of the Marines on his way out. He should have just gone home, and losing that Immortal and some of those sentries just really turned the tide so much in SuperNova's favor.
You know, SuperNova's controlling this really, really well, too. He's not getting overly aggressive or anything like that. He's being very careful, kind of taking everything he can out of Alicia's base, you know, while at the same time not taking damage to his Marines that much.
Alicia's got all of his units clumped up in one big group. I mean, he kind of has to, but every time the tank fires, it hits almost literally every unit.
Yep.
Alicia with 1 gate and 1 robo trying to hold on here. He's going to get a second Colossus now. This may trigger him to attack.
I think he's going to have to. I mean, now's the time. Oh, SuperNova getting a little bit crazy with his Marines there, but there are 4 siege tanks out right now. It's going to be pretty difficult to manage.
That pylon has 2 hit points left. With that falls, he's going to be supply blocked yet again. He's been trying to dig himself out of that supply deficit. Oh, catching a lot of Marines there. Range is done, so you
Wow.
can continue to poke at these Marines.
Nexus is starting to get a little bit low, too. You know, and even if Alicia does manage to somehow magically break this, he's lost a lot from it.
And right now, the worker count is 28 probes and 19 SCVs, so he does have much more probes than SuperNova, but I just can't see him breaking out of this. The Nexus is starting to get so low. The Viking is out poking at the Colossus.
SuperNova made a bunker, too, and that's going to be, you know, if anything's going to kind of spell the end of that, that's what's going to be. I mean, second bunker getting destroyed, but...
Yeah, the bunker just buying time for him, man. The Nexus is going to take more volleys. Looks like he's going to go. This is his last chance. Zealots running in here, not being able to do enough damage, I don't think. The Colossi getting close, but the bunker just doing so much damage. Both Colossi fall.
Yep.
The Zealots will also fall, and now the Nexus is going to be targeted down. I think this is going to spell the end for Alicia in game one.
Yeah, he's trying kind of last-ditch effort. GG, there it is. And SuperNova takes down Slayer's Alicia in the first game today. Everybody tally your little sheets to keep track of it. SuperNova's got a win. Alicia has a loss, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, Alicia, he played the right build, but normally when you see that tank and you see no in-base command center, you've got to know, oh, he's going to pull some SCVs and go.
Yeah, he saw everything. I mean, he got in there. He saw that there was no command center. So.
Basically, he lost making a smart move with trying to send his few stalkers, some sentries. What he was going to try to do was cut some of the Marines and force them on the ramp using his observer for vision to kill some of the Marines and then go home. But then when the attack came right when he did that, he turned around and tried to cut some Marines and then kill them and then go home. And I think he did. I think in most cases there's no stim with this type of timing attack. I think he didn't realize there was stim, and then he was like, "Oh, you have stim. I actually just lost like 3 sentries and an immortal, and now there's absolutely zero chance I'm going to be able to hold this."
Well, that was actually really smart by SuperNova to try going for 2 racks first to get the stim. I think it really, really threw off Alicia. I mean, we kind of saw that. So smart build by SuperNova. I don't know. It worked out. Worked pretty well for him.
Yeah, it worked really well, and I don't want to fault Alicia for that choice. I mean, what he was trying to do was a smart idea. He just didn't quite react in that one moment, that one critical moment. And even if he had kept those sentries in the Immortal alive, it wouldn't have been easy to hold the Nexus because basically against this build, you don't want to have a Nexus. You don't want to have made that investment. It's so hard to hold. But the trickery that SuperNova did with the 2 barracks and then adding the factory later was just something that kind of threw him off.
Very tricky. Well, here's our second game of the day. It's going to be the next Beyond versus FXO Leenock. Should be a pretty cool TVZ. The map is going to be Daybreak, as you can see there. I like Daybreak. It feels a little bit big, but overall, I think it's a very cool map.
Well, I like the architecture of the map. It's well designed, I think.
Yeah, except the middle rocks. People kind of break down those, and you're like, well, why? I don't know. Now, Beyond did beat Leenock in the up and down matches way back in GSL January.
Yeah, he was responsible for knocking Leenock out of Code S.
Yeah, that was how Beyond got into Code S, actually, is by knocking Leenock out of there. So these guys definitely have some history in the up and down matches even. Can Beyond progress, or I guess contribute to Leenock possibly staying in Code A? Or will he be the one to get knocked down this time?
Let's find out.
Let's soon.
I thought we were going to have like the intro music. I was about to go into intro mode. Like this.
There we go.
All right, Leenock versus Beyond at the up and down matches. I am Wolf, and with me is Doa. This is a funny intro.
I know. Beyond, Leenock.